If we lose our rights, I'm not about that. And I don't care what it costs because freedom is not free.
Yes, sir.
This is about control, everybody knows, everyone complies, we're the kinds of pros, I don't need a plane, I just hit the road, I do what I want, I can't sell my soul, market about to crash, this is what you chose, ruining the country, I think that's the goal, you gon' take the mark, I take narrow roads, I'm a man of God, I can never fold.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Protect Your Bourbons podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt. You see that? That was strong.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Solid.
I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host and esteemed colleague,
Ooh.
Mr. Grady. Welcome to the show, Zach.
Esteemed.
Yeah. I'm not really even sure what that means. Maybe look that up.
Yeah.
I think it's important, whatever it is.
I believe it's positive.
I just say that because it's from Ace Ventura, where he calls Dan Marino, his esteemed colleague, Mr. Marino.
Laces out, Dan.
Yes. Anyway, welcome to the show, dude.
What's up, man?
Yeah, doing the thing here. Got some fun shit to talk about today before we get started. Want to say thank you all for your support. We love and appreciate it. Please follow us on all of the things wherever you watch your podcasts. You can also follow us on YouTube as well as TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and coming soon, we've got accounts on Rumble and Truth Social, so follow us there for some upcoming exclusive content for those platforms.
We're getting there.
Yeah, sure to be great. We're building slowly but surely, so follow us on all the shit, and we appreciate your love and support. So,
absolutely.
look at that. Housekeeping done.
You rock that, dude.
Dude, ready to just record a podcast. I do miss saying, Zach, tell us what we're drinking today.
We'll get there.
Whew. It's been a long road.
We will get there.
We're probably 50-something days, so we're probably, 7 to 10 podcasts without, maybe more, probably.
More than that.
Yeah, how many days? 50 days? Oh, yeah, so 48, probably
maybe, yeah.
15 podcasts.
Yeah.
Without whiskey. This is getting to suck.
What a lame show.
I know. Our followers are down. Our support is very low, and I think it's time we step it the fuck up for our audience and
here we go
and bring whiskey back to them. We're probably much better at this whole conversational piece, talking shit
when we're a little loosey goosey.
when we're a little drunker anyway. So I think for the good of the content, we need to bring it back quickly.
Okay.
All right. Don't have to tell me twice. Anyway, today's format of the show, we're going to talk. We've got a couple topics. Zach, you've got topics for us to talk about.
Some Q&A.
Oh, we're doing Q&A.
Yeah.
All Q&A.
Oh yeah.
All right. What do you think of audio only so far?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's an easy transition for now.
I think so too. Plus, it allows us to just sit in the studio naked.
Yep.
And nobody knows it.
Nobody even knows.
Yeah, nobody even knows that.
I have not worn pants for 3 episodes.
I know.
So.
It's pretty incredible. I've noticed.
It's great.
I know it took me 2 episodes to notice. I'm like, wait a second. Are you not wearing pants again? Well, we can do whatever we want on the show. Maybe we should cut that part out. It sounds kind of weird talking about being clothesless.
To be fair, I probably could have went pantsless on video too. Nobody probably would have known.
Oh yeah, dude, that's what they do on on the news where they're zoomed in. Oh yeah, they've just got a jacket. They're wearing shorts and flip flops.
Yep.
For an interview, they're not dressed like that. They go to the studio wearing shorts, flip flops, and a t-shirt. They throw their coat and their shirt and tie on, and then they march their ass on out of there in their shorts and flip. Of course it is. You know what? When we go back to video, and we will go back to video for all of our listeners, we absolutely will go back to video.
Mm-hmm.
But when we go back, I think we should go back with just like top attire. Even
like
when we do the
suit.
No, just like the top half of our body. So even when we go into like the other format where we're going to do a couch type format or chairs, I think we should dress with like shirt and tie on the top. And like, then flip-flops on the bottom.
Chubby friggin'
like chubby shorts.
Chubby shorts
Yeah, for sure. And we should do it like as if we think it's only going to be from the top up. So we just look
we didn't
like
get the memo.
Yeah, like we didn't get exactly business up top and then surfer party on the bottom.
I'm down.
All right, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right, what do you got to talk about today? What are your topics? Let's get this thing cracking. Let's get this show on the road.
Ready for this?
I don't know. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. So every once in a while we get just random questions that pop in. People suggestions on what we should talk about or you know, that sort of thing.
All the time. Wait, before you get started on that, send those. It's we appreciate the feedback. Send in questions. We'd love to and if they're good questions, if they suck, we probably won't. But send in questions. We'd love to look at them and give us some ideas, not only on content for the show, but what you want to talk about, not necessarily what we want to talk about. So we appreciate it. Please send in questions.
That's like the hidden struggles of podcasting is ensuring you have valuable content to talk about every time you get on the mic. We're not just in here flapping our gums, you know?
Yeah, man. And you know, you and I have been talking about it, but we've all been talking about, you know, the algorithms lately.
Yeah.
And I listened, I think we might have touched on this a few episodes ago, but I listened to Mr. Beast, and he was explaining stuff in like a crazy level YouTube, but something he broke down super simply, like Barney style was, people are trying too hard to catch the algorithm if they just produce what the audience want. He said, if you just replace the word algorithm with followers or audience, then you can figure it out. And it's not what does the algorithm want, it's what do the people want. So if you're giving your people the content that they want to hear, that will help grow your channel or your show better than anything.
And no better way to give them what they want than to answer their question.
Than to you to tell me. So tell us what you want, and we will deliver it because it serves all of our best interest with a mission as big as ours and a purpose as big as ours to save the world.
We need to reach the masses.
We need to get, So basically, if you don't write into the show, you're a communist.
You heard it here, folks.
That's it. We won't be the freest podcast in all the land anymore if you guys don't start writing in questions to the show. Make them good.
There's a couple good ones here.
We got a couple good ones here. We get so many. We get a lot of love.
Yeah.
A lot of love on what we do produce. I mean, often enough I get questions, but we need way more really good questions. Send them in.
Agreed.
All right. Go ahead, rock and roll. Let's see. Question number 1. How many questions we got? 2, 3?
We got 2 today. We'll do these 2.
All right, let's go.
Today.
Question numero uno. Let's lay it on me.
All right, Matt.
Since
you, many would consider you successful, how specifically does someone with no money build wealth? It seems. Hold on. There's more.
Okay. I was going for it.
Dude,
I was ready.
Okay,
there's more.
Hold you back.
Okay,
easy, baby bird. I'll feed you, all right? I'll feed you.
Let's go.
It seems like everybody online gives vague overviews and never a roadmap on how to get there.
Say the question again, the whole question, since I rudely interrupted.
How specifically does someone with no money build wealth? It seems like everybody online gives vague overviews and never a roadmap on how to get there. So I just want, before you start your answer, I'll just preface it by saying, I don't know this person specifically what they are or are not willing to do, but I would beg the question: are they not giving you the answer you want to hear, or are they just not giving you a good answer? Because some people probably just aren't willing to do what these people are offering. You know what I mean? The advice these people are offering.
Yeah. Dude, this question is a really good question, and I'll get to what my thoughts on it are. But prior to all that, of course, here's an opinion. I think most people want somebody else to do the work for them. So even if they are given the answer, even if they understand the answer, they still don't want to put in the work.
Right.
And then they make an excuse rather than a plan as to why it's not working. And everyone's always a victim. You know, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too this. I'm too that. Oh, my wife would kill me. My husband would leave me. My dog ate it. You know, whatever. It's an excuse all the time instead of a plan to execute and complete. And I think most of that is just because people are bullshit. And I don't know who wrote this question in, but
I think it's also nobody has patience, and that's what it also requires.
right. And that's where I would lead into the actual answer. Is the first thing I would say is as far as a plan going. So let me get this straight. We have no money and we're trying to build wealth and we're looking for a specific or an exact roadmap, if you will, or pathway to that. First, I would say understanding that there is no get rich quick. Okay. There is nothing that's going to happen fast. Okay. It might feel fast, but it might not start until you're 40.
Wait, I got an email from a Nigerian prince though who said he had millions of dollars
Well,
waiting for me.
I
have lineage apparently.
Yeah, so that was my fifth point on this. Was I was going to say, or you just send the Nigerian prince all your bank account
Social Security
information, your
number.
social security number, and then they deposit. They usually do like millions, like a couple 100,000 installments.
Yeah, I think a month.
So yeah. So if the Nigerian prince doesn't work out, there is no get rich quick. You have to understand the concept of time. You have to first understand that patience is probably the most key part of this whole equation.
Right.
However, you have to understand what patience actually means. And it doesn't mean you go work for 3 years and you're entitled to becoming wealthy. It doesn't mean you go work for 5 years and you can start taking, lavish vacations and you deserve shit that you don't actually deserve. It means long term. Okay? Understanding the level of patience also is contingent upon what I would say would be my number 2 element to this is establishing what level of wealth you want to build. You let in with some would call me successful. I don't think I'm successful yet. Relatively speaking, I don't know. I'm more successful financially than, most of the population, not to brag, but facts are the facts. I'm not successful in my own mind.
Right.
I still have a long way to go. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Right.
I'm my own worst critic like everyone. But my plan, and then I have other elements, I've got issues throughout my whole life. Like I'm far from successful in many aspects. But talking about this, wealth building, I understand how to do it. I know how to do it. I've done it. I'm doing it. And understanding what level of wealth you want to build or what does wealthy mean to you?
I think that's an important aspect of it because
Yeah.
it means something different to everybody.
Absolutely.
Like, I think we may have had this discussion before. Like,
Have we?
I don't care to build a business and be super rich,
Right.
Like, I'm comfortable as long as I can pay my bills and spend money freely,
Right.
not have to worry about going out to dinner or taking my kids to a game or something like that, I would consider myself wealthy in that regard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you need to figure out where you fall in that pecking order. Like, what does it mean to you to be wealthy?
Right. And if you want to, pick a level of wealth. I want to be a millionaire. You have to understand what a millionaire is. Do you want to have $1 million in cash, or do you want to have a net worth of $1 million, which means if you liquidate all of your assets and you pay off all your debts, the money you have left over, that's basically your net worth. Anything you have in your life that's worth something monetarily, if you sell all of that and then pay off all of your debt associated with that or otherwise, the balance of those is your net worth. So most people want to be wealthy, but they don't understand even what a millionaire is. They don't understand the money. So preliminarily, if you will, to all wealth building, you have to first understand what it is you're getting into, what it is you're trying to achieve, and what you actually want. So, a lot of people think, well, I'd be rich if I made $250,000 a year. If that's wealthy to you, I would start by saying, okay, I'm not going to start making $250,000 a year right now. What's a reasonable time frame for me to start making $250,000 a year? And if you can give yourself a timeline, I don't know. I currently make $65,000 a year, $250,000 a year. I'm a long ways from that. So I now have to create a roadmap to $250,000 a year.
But
if your goal is to make $1 million a year, then you have to first get to $250,000 in order to get to 250, and then you have to get to 500, then you have to get to $1 million or 750. Go ahead.
I'm sure you're getting to this point, but it also matters what you do with the money you're making. Like, it's not just because you make $250,000 doesn't mean you're going to be rich.
Of
like
course.
if you're spending it all on a bunch of crap and not reinvesting or building something on top of it. I mean, I know people that make a ton of money and they're broke as shit.
Of course.
You know?
And again, that's where most people jump. And that's why whoever wrote this question probably believes, there is no roadmap out there. I know, listen, I follow a lot of people who are in the money game, who are building wealth, and they tell it exactly how it is. Most people just don't interpret it exactly how they're saying it, or they don't understand what they're saying. Therefore, they believe the roadmap isn't out there. It's pretty darn simple. Make a decision as to how much wealth you want to build, backwards plan from there. Give yourself a reasonable expectations on timeline. Don't drive yourself crazy thinking you can, be a net worth millionaire in 3 years, and you're currently making $32,000 a year as a drive-through attendant at McDonald's. And I think they actually make more than that, but give yourself reasonable and fair expectations and then start planning. First, you're making $50,000 a year. You got to get to 100. Now, here's where if I'm giving advice or the answer on how to do this, the core beyond understanding what it is you want is understanding what it is that it takes to get there, or what it is that you have to do, what it takes to get there.
I feel like you're going to talk about sacrifice.
Yeah. So first of all, you got to become really, 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 really good at your job. The easiest way to make $100,000 a year is working for an employer. Like, if you want to go start a business, you could certainly work your ass off and earn a position working for someone else who has already done those years and all of that trials and tribulations and building of the business to create that position of $100,000 a year. And all you have to do is really, really, really work your ass off for it. Be the absolute best you possibly can as an employee for someone. Okay. You want to make $100,000 a year. You have to become a subject matter expert on your own time. You can't show up to a job and expect someone to hire you for $100,000 a year and then make you worth $100,000 a year by putting in their training, putting their value, their dollars in. You have to do that on your own. That's how you make yourself worth that money. Your own time, your own dime. Now you find...
You may have to do that while not making $100,000 a year currently.
You will have to do that while not making $100,000 a year.
That's where you're going to find the disconnect with it. Because when we post like business things like that and working your ass off and working hard for somebody, we always get kickback about, well, why should I work that hard for them? I'm not making blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's the biggest bullshit, dude. Oh, the man.
Yeah.
Always trying to stand on your head. You're lining someone else's pockets. You're doing, maybe you are. I don't know who you work for, but there are tons, hundreds of thousands, millions of insanely amazing entrepreneurial business owners out there who take care of their people, who pay them a fair wage, and who want them to grow, because the smart business owners, especially and particularly the entrepreneurial, family-owned and operated type scaling, growing businesses, like the true American spirit businesses, their growth is contingent upon basically two things: really great people and capital. And the really great people will get you the money.
We'll create the
capital.
Right.
So if you just become a really, really great person and a really, really great employee, you will work, and then find you a good job. It's got lots of promotion opportunities and lots of growth opportunities. I mean, it's up to you to not take the easy way. Find something that you sacrifice. You make a little bit of sacrifice. Once you get a good job, you got to give yourself, 3, 4, 5 years of hard work, becoming the absolute best there is to be in that role, in that business, in that company. Learn your boss's job, learn the people below you's job, learn your peers' job, learn every job you can, and be the most valuable asset you possibly can to that business, and then start making $100,000. And now enter in the responsibility for that money. If you were making $50,000 and you were living off of $50,000, and 4 or 5 years later, you're making $100,000, your goal should still be living like you're living off of $50,000, or like you're earning $50,000.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, you'll see a lot of people like, well, how do I get rich? And then you look at their spending statements, and there's got all these, freaking subscriptions and stuff. Like, well, I know how you can make $500 extra bucks really easy right now.
Right.
Just cancel a bunch of shit.
Listen, if your goal is to make $100,000 a year, and you were making 50, and 5 years later you grind your ass off and make good decisions with employment, work your ass off, become the best you can be. You're making $100,000 5 years later. Like, you're done. Keep working. Maybe you'll get a 3 or a 4 or 5% pay raise every year, and you'll maintain that $100,000, and you put a little away for savings and put it into your max out your 401k and live your life on your $25,000 a year worth of, extra spending, whatever you want to do.
But anybody I know personally that has created wealth for themselves and became successful, and I'm including you in this category, has taken a step backwards.
Yeah, man.
To move forward. Like, it's with anything, dude. Weight loss, exercise, diet. You have to delay your gratification to know that the better life is on the other side.
Yeah.
Anything that gives you immediate gratification is probably not good. You're either wasting money, or you're eating something you shouldn't be, or
I've got a pretty simple roadmap that I follow. This is what I did. I'm going to give you the roadmap, and I guarantee it. 99.99999% of our listeners will clearly understand this and absolutely not do it.
Right.
Here's the roadmap.
Yep.
Here's the path I took. I sold my house. I took the equity I had in my house, was about $45,000 of equity in my house. I paid off my debt, paid off my bills, and moved into an apartment. I moved my family of, at the time, 4, my wife and my 2 young children at the time were 2 and 3 years old. I moved them into an apartment. I went from making, $100,000 a year. Moved them into an apartment, an upstairs 3rd floor apartment with no elevator. Cut all of our expenses down, moved into an apartment, and continued to earn money. I took my money that I had, took out a credit card, I think it was like $14,000, and I invested in a business. I got the seller, the old owner of the business, to seller finance me, to finance the purchase, in which case I gave him a down payment. I was able to take some money, about $15,000 of that, put it towards my living expenses so I can do, pay my bills. My wife works full time. She carries the benefits. She has the stable job in the military, so we have her income. We reduce our living expenses all the way down to what we need to live off of, one income, her income. Everything else goes into the business. I then have the seller finance me for the business. I then use the business revenue rather than to immediately start taking money for myself. We continue to live off of one paycheck. Instead, every dollar of profit I earned in the business is used to pay off the business debt. I then pay off the business debt in about 18 months. So a year and a half with no pay. I pay off the business debt. I now own the business free and clear, in which I can then start taking on a salary. My family is now accustomed to living off of one paycheck. Okay. I then move into a little better apartment. A 3-bedroom with 4 of us. So we then go into a 3-bedroom on the first floor. It was great. We lived there for several years. We bought a boat. This way we can believe that we were living the good life. We'd go out on the river, and we literally, the only expenses we would have were the boat expenses. I then allocate all of our dollars that we are making, living off of one paycheck, the remainder of our paycheck, increase our lifestyle by just a little bit, and then continue to feed the business to grow and grow and grow the business. We did this for probably 5 years. Then move into a townhouse and do the same thing. Live off of 1.5 paychecks, like one in a reasonable $50,000 a year paycheck. Now we're continuing to pump and pump and pump and grow the business. If you want to do it, it starts with the sacrifice. You have to liquidate, sell, get your cash out, have confidence in reinvesting in yourself, and build that. That's how I did it.
The easiest way to increase your money immediately, though, is to cut expenses. It's the easiest way.
Cut your expenses. That's it. You want to add 10%?
That's where people aren't willing to do it. Or
Of course. And taking a step backwards. I mean, listen, I understand. It'd be very hard for me today to do it.
right.
The older you get, the harder it's going to be. If you're 30, if you're 33, if you're 26, if you're 24, and you bought a house and you're sitting on $100,000 or $50,000 worth of, I don't know, fake manufactured inflation equity in your property, man, I can tell you right now, you make some pretty good moves, you take some good risks, you could take $50,000 worth of equity or $25,000 worth of equity in a property, turn that into a down payment on a small business loan. You can, you can do a house flip. I mean, you're going to take a risk. You might lose it all. But I can tell you one thing, you're not going to gain shit if you don't take the risk, which is something we should talk about, risk. I think we've talked about it before, actually. Anyway, that's my roadmap. Make the sacrifice early on, downgrade your lifestyle, cut all of your expenses, live off of one income, both parents go to work, figure out how to operate off of one while gaining 2. You can either buy a business with that or make an investment with the other money, or do it the safe way and start packing it away.
And for last piece on this, and then we'll move on. But for the married people interested in this plan and this roadmap,
Yep.
you've said it before, you have to make sure you are on the same page with your spouse. Because if one of you is doing it and the other one is working against it, no chance in hell it works.
I could not agree more with that. Figuring out roles. And again, I'm not saying, and I don't believe this. If you want to build wealth, like ideally, mom's staying home with the kids, dad's grinding away. It's hard to build wealth that way. It really is. If you can figure out a way to either A, raise kids and build wealth later so your mom could be home with the kids, raising the kids, all the power to you. Or get started early and both parents or both members of the family team, mom and dad or husband and wife, whatever, get started early.
Grind before you have kids?
Or grind when the kids are like super young or before, like, because I mean, it's harder. I mean, with teenagers, it's harder. I mean, to move with teenagers into an apartment, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do it or if you have teenagers, you shouldn't do it. Humble them kids too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was another positive outcome to that is my kids were incredibly humbled.
Yeah.
You know, instead of being spoiled rich kids sitting on top of a hill, I mean, they lived their first few years in an apartment and then a small little townhouse and, you know, lots of rich friends they had. And they would be like, hey, I want to move into a house. I'm like, yeah, well, we will someday.
One day.
Someday. Yep. So anyway, that's my answer. Make the sacrifice. There's the roadmap, and I bet you nobody does it. Let's hear the next topic.
Hey, guys. With all the stuff going on in the world,
Hey, guys.
what should we be doing to protect our families?
Guns. Protect your purpose. Get some guns.
The Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment.
All right, that's all, everybody. Have a great night.
I wasn't really listening. What's the question?
With all the stuff going on in the world, what should we be doing to protect our families?
All right. Yep, I was right. Guns. Get some guns. You'll be all right. I mean, because guns, you can just... Never mind. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't want to answer this question because it makes my blood pressure go up. What do you think the answer is, Zach? What are you doing anything different? The shit going on in the world. What do you got? What do you think?
The way I think we should approach this question is the average everyday American. Simplify the question, right? What can you do on a daily basis?
The same shit you should have been doing before all this shit was going on.
But I mean, we're both parents of several children. It's hard to do sometimes. So
it's hard to do all the time.
No judgment, but I mean, diet and exercise is probably the first thing that pops into my mind. What are you feeding your kids, and are they moving? You know?
Oh, diet and exercise for the kid. Yeah,
and this
for sure.
This has reared its ugly head recently for myself because Halloween was just a couple weeks ago.
We just had. Yep.
And my daughter specifically, when she eats too much sugar, is just insane. Like, it legitimately affects her brain, and she cannot function normally. Like, it's a drug, man. It's a drug to her. And we're pumping all this shit into
the sugar?
Yeah.
Of course it's a drug.
And not just that. I mean, anything. If you look at the ingredients on anything, dude, it's insane.
It's terrible. We can't even decipher anymore.
Right.
Bro. And the truth is we can decipher. There's just nothing left. Like, there's no it's even the no sugar. You've got all the artificial sweeteners. You've got all the bullshit. Like, it is so difficult to not it should not be this difficult to not poison ourselves.
And I'm not saying go freaking vegan and just shop at Whole Foods, because most people can't afford that, or it's not realistic.
Right.
But you can stop buying candy. You can stop going to McDonald's. You can do those little things and lead by example.
Yeah.
Like, me and my wife both work out pretty regularly, and our kids, you know, see that and follow suit. Like, my 5-year-old loves working out.
Right.
Like, so if you're sitting around the couch watching movies, eating Doritos all day, your kids are going to follow suit, man.
That's right.
So that's one easy way.
Yeah.
Where you could make changes tomorrow to help protect your kids long term.
For sure. I think, we just started again. My kids do the power list. We have like a non-negotiables list that my kids do. They're on and off of it, In the summer, we lose them, and then I try to reel them back in. Summer, I think it's most important, but then, we want them to have fun. We want them to be kids. So we it's loose, and it's in and out,
You're talking like daily tasks that they accomplish.
Right.
Right.
And we have officially, in answer to this question, let me tell you what I'm doing. With my kids to protect my family. I wasn't kidding when I said all the shit we should have been doing, and you'll hear me say all the shit that me and my family should have been doing that we just kind of were laxed on, that we're no longer being laxed on.
Right.
We have a list of every single thing. Every morning, my kids need to wake up. They need to make their bed. Why? Because it's a good way to start your day. It's a good way to start the day with a win. Every day they need to brush their teeth. Why? So their teeth don't fall out. They don't have cavities. They brush their teeth in the morning. They brush their teeth at night. Every day, my kids need to get outside for a half hour a day, kind of like the 75 Hard program. They need to get outside in the sunlight, enjoy that for 30, 45 minutes a day, every day. No two ways about it. Like, there's no negotiation in it. They ask, are we doing for 75 days? Are we doing 30? How long? And I'm now explaining to them, this is
every
for
day.
The rest of your life. You're 13 and you're 14 years old. This is the way you will live. So there is no more time. This is it. So doing the same thing, reading. My kids are going to read. They're going to read nonfiction books, 10 pages a day, non-negotiable. Why? Because they need that. Their brain needs that food. They need that information. They need that responsibility, chores. Our kids need to do chores. On the kid piece, that's what you need to do. Okay. All the same shit you should have been doing before. But again, kind of like the wealth building question. The question needs to be asked first, what level of protection are you trying to achieve? Like, are you trying, like, all the stuff going on in the world is the question. All the stuff like what?
That seems like a doomsday question.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of.
So that's the question. Is it a doomsday question? In which case, I don't know. I mean,
Then guns is really the answer.
How prepared are you now? Do you want to be more prepared? Do you have any food? Do you have any rations?
Can you afford an underground silo that you can live in?
Yeah. Do you have guns, ammo? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of answers to that question.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of a open-ended question for sure.
right. If that's the question, and that's what that was leading to, like, how do you protect your family from the doomsday? I would say at this point, get some food, long-term storage food, some 25-year food, spend a few $100, a few $1,000, however much they are. I mean, a few $100 each kid. So or each family member, a couple $1,000, maybe $1,000, depending on the side of your family. Have some food that you can have. Get some water in case we run out of water. Have food, have water, maybe have some cash on the side. I don't know. First and foremost, like guns. I was kind of joking when I said that, but I mean, if we're talking about the protection, get guns and learn how to use them and be vocal about it. That's what I would do. Get guns, get food. Don't worry about toilet paper. You can wipe your ass with a leaf. Like, don't worry about that. Get guns, get ammo, and get a food and a water source. That's what I would say. Water filtration system. If not, buckets or jugs of water in case you need them. And everyone should always have that. Like, we're in the military, dude. Like, always be prepared with extra rations. You never know what shit could go wrong. So that's what I would say for that. But as far as what we can do to protect our family and our society, I don't know, man. I think use your rights. I hate to resort right back to guns again, but guns are one of our rights. Unapologetically exercise your rights out in public and unapologetically and fearlessly do not comply with anything that you don't agree with. Maintain our freedoms. Die on that hill. Do not let anyone silence you. Not for the sake of an investment dollar, not for the sake of your employment, not for the sake of a family-friend relationship, nothing. Do not comply and do not agree with something that you do not actually agree with, and speak your mind. Use your rights, including but not limited to our Second Amendment right. But our First, our Fifth, all of them. Anything that you can feel them trying to shit on, as long as we can preserve our rights, America will get through this. The only question is,
can we?
Can we? I mean, there's, again, going back in this conversation, man, like everything, when you're making a plan to do something, like everything is contingent upon the early stages, understanding what it is you're getting into. And if you don't believe that, like if you just believe there's some wild shit going on in the world and you don't believe that there's a military and a global government that's actively seeking to take away our rights, like you will not be able to get to planning to take care of your family. No chance. But yeah, I think ultimately, what my recommendations would be is stop listening to the media. Love your neighbor, love your family, love your friends. Try your best to close the gap on the bullshit that they're dividing us on. Do not comply. Do not comply. Use your rights. Use your voice. Be fearless. Be unapologetic. People will respect you more. If you're a business owner or like a high-level employee, you might lose your job, but Are you asking me what do I do to protect my job, or are you and not lose my job or not piss anybody off? Or you're asking me what do we do to protect our family? I mean, the biggest thing you can do is make the sacrifice again. And you stand up and you talk truth. Expect persecution. Expect people to come after you. But be
We
bold
get it all the time.
Yeah, that's what we need to be doing. Because if one person goes and gets, dry storage food, like, that ain't
doing nothing.
that ain't it. Like, yeah, what should you do? You should band together. You should find a friend group. You should discuss plans for nuclear attacks and what would you and your family do if this were to happen. Have a bug out plan, have a safe place, have food, have weapons, have ammo, know how to use them, train your kids, get healthy, pay attention to what your kids are consuming.
That's what I was going to say.
Build wealth.
Down to the family level. Like, watch what they're consuming. Don't let schools indoctrinate them.
Words are hard.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they understand your values and your family values, and you're raising them in those regards. So then when they're old enough to speak out or to stand their ground or to fight for their rights, that they actually do it.
Yeah. Teaching your kids that is everyone else is trying to teach them different.
That's what scares me, dude.
Dude.
We're probably going to outlive everything, or not, excuse me, other way around. We're probably not going to outlive everything going on,
Sure.
but our kids might.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start raising them to be able to do what we're doing and talk about these things and fight back and not let it just happen.
Yeah. Talk to your kids about it. Dude, knowledge is so key. And it goes back to the root of both of these questions are truly understanding what it is that you're getting into and what you're actually trying to achieve. And if you think some like doomsday shit is going on in this country and you're worried about something other than that,
that's a problem.
whoa.
There might be
Right.
not a lot bigger than that.
Right. I think there's a global government trying to take away our rights and our freedoms and overthrow America. I think there always has been. You know what I'm doing? I'm devoting several hours of every single day of my life to talking about it, to informing people, to trying to encourage people to, counter the attempt and prepare themselves. This podcast, great question, but what am I doing? I got on the internet and I invested, $150,000 in a setup and staff and continuing investment to do my part in trying to inform people and using my Second Amendment and putting myself out there and losing business on my end and losing, being persecuted for my military career and being attacked. And you're seeing it.
Right.
If you're asking what I'm doing, and then, speaking out at school boards, I think it's just very simple. Like, do not comply. They tell you not to
Be
talk.
vocal.
Yeah.
Do not comply.
Don't listen to anybody when they... Dude, I had somebody email me. I might have talked about this before on the show, or not email me. I don't know how old I am.
Jesus.
Somebody text me and tell me that if I would just keep my opinions to myself, I'd get a lot more business. And I'm like, yeah. You know what, dude?
You're missing the point.
It was on Father's Day like 2 years ago. Yeah, you're missing the point, Chief. Like, you don't get it. And not to mention, you also don't get how much business I do get from like-minded individuals who would rather pay more to do business with me or are comfortable, or, for every employee that I lose because they think I'm a bigot or a racist or whatever they think, I gained 2 employees that believe 100% what I believe in and, are proud that they have a leader that is fearless and gets out there. So, you're going to get beat down, but at the end of the day, you're also going to have some wins. Like, there's some positives that are going to come from that. So I don't know, man. I guess in short on that, be fearless, do not comply, and use your rights before you lose your rights.
Expect the persecution
Yeah.
and just embrace it, man.
And don't complain about it either.
Yeah.
Don't get on there and be like,
It is
poor
what it
me,
is.
poor me. Like, we'll never forget. I'll never forget that, I'll never forget being called a threat to national security and a terrorist. Like, I'll never forget being called an old people murderer and a baby murderer because of my choice to not inject myself with something that someone else wanted me to, that I didn't need. So I'll never forget that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and play myself, the pity party that everyone else. It is what it is. I made that choice. I knew I was the choice when I made it.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you want to know what I say, my answer, make that choice. And it's hard. Just like the other one, you probably won't do it. Because it's much easier to just
Comply.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I remember, I got into fights with my friends. I got into fights with my family members because I would cause a scene going into a restaurant. They're like, "Can you just put the mask on?" And I'm like, "Dude, you don't understand what's happening. And no, I don't want to go into this restaurant. Don't make me do it on our friendship." Until finally, every one of those people now understand what I was doing and what I was saying. But at the time, man, I felt alone.
Mm-hmm.
Do not comply. Stand up for what you believe in. Arm yourself. Learn how to use your weapon. Get guns and ammo. Get on a microphone. Speak your voice. Tell your family, I'm not doing any more of your dumb bullshit. No, I don't agree that, men should compete in women's sports. Say what you feel.
Right.
Because as long as we continue to do that, it will continue to get worse.
Hell yes.
What do you think?
All that.
You feel the same thing?
Oh, yeah. I think we're pretty
Squared
aligned
up.
on a lot of that.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, dude. It's a weird world out there right now, especially with all the war shit. It's so hard to understand what's going on right now.
Dude, that's what it is.
It's
freaking just
impossible.
mass confusion.
Mass confusion, bro. It's Hamas, it's Israel, it's Palestine, it's the right is this. We've got riots in the street. No doubt in my mind, the people who are protesting are the same exact people who were shipped in across our southern border, right? And we're sitting there going, wait a second, where did all these people come from? No, they didn't come from there. Did they? It's hard to understand. Should I be pro this? Should I be pro that?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't even know what side we're supposed to be on.
Right.
That's because I knew it was bullshit from begin with.
Right. And that's why
it's not bullshit. People are dying.
It's rarely bullshit that people are dying.
So let's make that clear. But it's bullshit why they're dying.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. And again, we've talked about this before, but if we lose our rights, I'm not about that. And I don't care what it costs, because freedom is not free.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
That's a good way to end it.
I think so. I enjoyed this show. Did you?
Yeah, it was fun.
Listen, people, we appreciate your love. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you sticking with us. We have some really fun and exciting new formats coming, new content for the show, new platforms for the show. We're really excited about it, so please follow us. You can listen to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, including YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and as of recently, Rumble and Truth Social, coming new exclusive content there. So please like and subscribe. It really helps us. It helps the algorithm, and it helps us save this country and remain the freest podcast in all of the land. What do you think?
I like it. You're getting good at that.
Well, I had to practice. I wrote out a script and then I practiced in the mirror. I'm just kidding. Anyway, people, thank you all for joining us. As always, find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose, people. Peace.
Peace.